This conference will now be recorded.
Fantastic. Okay, welcome everyone. This will be Conversations at IIAS, webinar number 8, Youth-Led Aerospace Movements, Voices Shaping the Future, and we have fantastic guests. Again, I'm your host, David Guajardo. For our guests, we have Dafne Reyes, raise your hand, Jahnavi Dangeti, and the great Achintya Bairat. This episode explores the impact of youth leadership in shaping the future of the space industry throughout grassroots movements, advocacy, and education. We aim to amplify youth-led voices just like them that are challenging the status quo and building more inclusive, accessible pathways into space careers. I'm going to start with bio from each one of you guys, and then I'm going to start explaining and asking a series of questions, which normally is around 10 to 15 questions depending on the time. And then at the end, the attendees can ask their questions in the chat so we can go by each one of them. I'm going to start with Dafne Reyes Pimentel. Dafne Reyes is a robotics engineering student at the Tecnológico de Monterrey with a passion for space exploration and STEM education. She has been actively involved in robotics competitions since the age of 12 and has collaborated with organizations such as UNESCO and Fundación Espacial. Dafne co-founded the Latinas in Space initiative and hosts the She Takes a Space podcast, aiming to inspire and empowering young women in Latin America to pursue careers in the space sector. And of course, Dafne, we're going to be delving into each one of these. And if you have even more to add, then you'll have the opportunity to do so. Second, it'll be Jahnavi Dangeti. Jahnavi is an analog astronaut and pilot in training from India. She holds the unique distinction of being the first Indian to complete NASA's International Air and Space Program and has represented India across multiple international space missions, including the Astroland program in Spain, and Geospace in Iceland and Habitat Marte in Brazil. How cool is that? She's a graduate of Project Possum, where she has trained in high-G flights, microgravity simulations, and spacesuit operations. Beyond astronautics, she's a passionate STEM advocate, a TEDx speaker, and among the youngest advanced scuba divers in India, actively involved in coral restoration and sustainability research for space systems. This is beautiful, Jahnavi. I love the ocean. I love scuba diving. Jahnavi is also conducting research on sustainable space farming with a focus on hydroponic systems, which I also love. I have one of those indoor systems, driven by her dream to contribute to humanity's journey to Mars. Jahnavi continues to break barriers and inspire the next generation of explorers. Welcome, Jahnavi. And last but not least, we have Achintya Bairat, a good friend of mine. Achintya Bairat is a citizen scientist and bioastronautics research with a strong background in aerospace engineering. He has completed 5 internships at NASA, including work at the Johnson Space Center, where he contributed to developing virtual reality tools to enhance astronaut training in the NBL, the Neutral Buoyancy Lab. Achintya is pursuing a Master's of Science in Aerospace Engineering at the University of Central Florida and currently holds a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science from the University of Connecticut. He currently works as an integration and test engineer at Blue Origin on the lunar lander slated for flight this year. Oh God, this is so good, Achintya. I know you just took this role shortly, so congratulations. This is fantastic. We could get very excited about this. We want to learn the details about it. So I'm going to put you guys' LinkedIn's in the chat so the people can take a look at them and add you as their own convenience. And then I'm going to start with the first question. This one, whoever wants to start, go ahead. If nobody answers or volunteers, I'm going to select you guys. What first sparkled your interest in space or STEM fields?
Okay, I can.
Go ahead, Dafne. Good.
Well, that's a very emotional question because I think I fell in love with science from a very young age because I was always incredibly curious. I remember that as a kid, the toys I wanted the most were the robotic ones. And I was fascinated by the idea that something can move just by using batteries and energy and all that stuff. But it wasn't until middle school that everything started because I discovered the robotic classes at school and got involved with the um, first Lego League competitions. And that's when I truly fell in love with robotics. Later on, as I learned more about space exploration and all the complex challenges it faces, I discovered that it brought together everything I love: technology, creativity, and the drive to solve big problems.
Fantastic. Lucky you that you had robotics accessible in middle schools. That's so good. You had those resources. Congratulations on following your passions. Who's next? Jahnavi, Achintya?
Yeah, I'll go. So, my fascination with space began with a very silly story. So, my parents moved abroad when I was 1 year old, and since then, I'm living with my grandmother. And I grown up listening to her bedtime stories, and she used to tell me tales of a moon and a lady who lives on moon, and that sparked interest towards space. I didn't know anything about rockets or astronauts, scientists, but those stories made me look up and wonder, with wonder and curiosity over time. The childlike imagination turned into a deep passion for space science, and what started as a myth is now a mission. That's my story.
Great, great, great. Go ahead, Achintya.
Yeah, so I think I always came from an engineering and STEM background. Like both my parents, my mom did electrical engineering as one of three women in our entire school. So that was a very big deal for us. And my dad, he did computer engineering. And so then when we moved to the States, I guess like engineering or in STEM fields was always ingrained into us growing up. And I went to an engineering high school. And actually, the path to space was kind of out of chance. It actually really began with IIAS, I want to say, because I'm a 2020 high school grad. So I came in my freshman year. You know, we didn't have our proms, we didn't have our graduation ceremonies. A lot of these like major formative years were kind of like lost to us, and we're kind of like sitting in lockdown. And I really just wanted to find opportunities to go meet new people, and just opportunities to connect and do things in person, really. So one of those I found out surprisingly was in Connecticut, which doesn't have too much of a space presence, and it's really cool to see IIS starting there in their Groton campaign with their spacesuit evaluation. So I saw it was a great opportunity to actually do something in person. And here I met a lot of wonderful people. And from there, I heard of the conference like IAC, the International Astronautical Congress. And it was, I pretty much took all the money. I was working at Shake Shack actually that summer, and I didn't know anything about space, anything I wanted to do. And I was like, hey, I just like, let's just go to Dubai, like across the world, and see what it has to offer. It's a chance to go meet new people. I don't know anything about space or astronauts, and it was truly a life changing experience for me, to be honest. Like, never have I seen a field or a group of people working together collaboratively from all these different types of backgrounds, and I see all these dialects, languages, and people come together for this one universal mission for discovery and space exploration. It's truly magical to see. And from there, man, I caught the bug. I got lucky enough and grateful to work at NASA, and from there it was just yeah, I was the passion was set in stone. So yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be telling us briefly about your current work. But yeah, the IACs are fully recommended. Everyone remembers their first, and you meet astronauts and like hundreds and hundreds of just space companies, which opens your eyes and your brain and gets you very enthusiastic and expand your network as well. Okay, the second question is, please share your current work on or mission and how it ties to space exploration or advocacy. We can start with you, Daphne.
I'm currently studying robotics engineering and training to become a pilot, and I'm also part of Shakti Sat. This is a satellite project that will enter to lunar orbit with the support of ISRO. Um, as as a Mexico ambassador, I contribute to the satellite technical development and work to promote like space education for the girls in my country. Um, and also giving them access to aerospace courses that can help them to build the skills of a future aerospace engineer. And the goal is like to spark their interest early on, so that when the time comes to choose a career, they can feel more confident or inspired to pursue a STEM field if they wish. And through conferences and outreach efforts, I focus on making the space sector more visible and accessible, especially to young people who may never imagine themselves being part of it.
Very good. Very good. Go ahead, Jahnavi. Same question. What is your current role apart from being a student?
Okay. Currently, I serve an Indian space tech company as a president. Also, I'm taking part in space analog mission simulations from different parts of world. And alongside that, I'm working on research papers like growing food using water efficient systems like hydroponics, as I said before, and combining that with a smart technology to monitor them. I'm also currently working on my pilot license, commercial pilot license, and also advancing my scuba diving skills. And I'm
Yeah.
really passionate about making space education available and accessible for uh, less privileged people from less privileged background, because I'm from a very small town of India, and show them that the places where I'm right now, or the space is for everyone, not just for astronauts or scientists in big cities. If I can do that, they can do it too. It's whether uh, through workshops, talks, or mentorships. My mission is to show young people that space is not a distant dream, it's a future they can be a part of.
Oh, you all three are doing just exactly that, and I am amazed of the work that you have been sharing. And I believe with social media, which all you three are active, this is just fantastic, showing the people what can be accomplished and inspiring this passion. What about you, Achintya?
Yeah, so as you mentioned earlier, I'm currently at Blue Origin out here in Florida. And I actually don't know too much about a lot of the Blue Origin products. Yeah, I'm very new here, but currently I'm working on integration and test for the lunar lander. And they have the Mark 1 and Mark 2, so the crewed and uncrewed configurations of the lunar lander, one of which is slated to go to the moon. Hopefully we're launching this year, and outlook is looking actually really good. But previously, I was very recently at JSC, Johnson Space Center, working in the EVA operations group, and I spent before that in working in guidance, navigation, and control. So I was there for most of almost a year, actually. Yeah, my whole year, working with the Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory and a lot of other EVA ops products, like the airlock and EMU systems. And it's really cool getting to integrate pretty closely with crew and diving in the NVL. They do a lot of like suited test runs. We saw the lunar lander in there and saw the real EVA ops that they're planning on doing on the moon. Just a lot of really exciting work being done, and it's just incredible to get offered those opportunities at such an early career level. It's pretty incredible the stuff that's being done here in the space industry. It's moving every
Yeah.
single day. Like I could tell you something now, and then tomorrow, be like it'll be completely different. Something new is happening. So yeah, pretty incredible work. So mostly in my role right now, currently at Blue, is getting to learning a lot about technician work and learning how they actually manufacture, test systems level integration for the lunar lander and their future plans as well. So currently we're working on the uncrewed version that's launching this year. After
Wow.
which soon will be the crewed lander. So yeah, pretty incredible work.
Impressive. You've been living the dream with all the jobs that you mentioned. This is just so good. You mentioned that the lunar lander at the NBL. Was that the one from Blue Origin?
Yeah. So at the NBL, they have both SpaceX's HLS and Blue Origin's HLS configurations over there, and they run EVA operations. So they have the EMU suits or the NBL configured mockups for those configurations for the HLSs, and they'll run like airlock operations on those different systems. Different kinds of operations and stuff, which I can't get too much into, but but yeah.
long story short, we are going back to the moon. That's just so good, Achintya.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
definitely. I definitely see it happening like very soon. And it's pretty incredible after all this long time to see it like really happen. Like this is really happen. We have hardware right now, like in the like I go to work and we have a full, lander hardware getting set up and
Yeah.
built. So it's
I
pretty
remember
incredible.
going to visit Blue Origin at the very entrance in the lobby. They used to have the first rocket that they landed
Yeah,
before SpaceX, even, which not enough people know that. But now they changed it to the lunar lander, right? When was that?
correct.
Do you know? Was that recent?
I'm not quite sure, but it had to have been recent because I remember last I visited in Florida, it was also like the rocket as well. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
they must
they
have changed that
donated.
recently. And we have like 3, 4 new buildings. Like I drove back here like in first time maybe in like a year or so, and it's just downright incredible the progress that's being made. It's so quick, it's so fast. It's insane. 3 new buildings, they just pop out of nowhere and new hardware coming out pretty quickly. So
Slowly but surely, and it's exciting. They've sent more than 30 humans already into space in suborbital missions, which is
yeah.
so good. Hopefully, they can be getting more interested in scientific missions, but we'll see. And I believe it's a very powerful company in the making. Very shortly, they're going to start doing amazing stuff. I can
Definitely.
tell. Next question is, you've all taken initiative to create or lead programs. You mentioned some of them already. What motivated you to start and what challenges have you faced? Maybe this happened in school. Maybe the school did not like your project and did not supported you. But if you can, some of you tell us briefly what did you accomplish on this matter? What about you,
Oh wait,
Dafne?
Okay.
can you
Go
re-ask the
ahead.
question real quick again?
Yes. You're taking initiative to create or lead programs. It could be podcast or maybe some challenges at school or talks at school. What motivated you to start and what challenges did you face?
Mm-hmm. Okay. In my case, I think that I was motivated by the lack of representation, especially of young women and Latinas in the space field. I wanted to become a person that I didn't see growing up. One of the biggest challenges has been like balancing my studies, my technical trainings, and all the leadership ideas. It's also like mm, sometimes it's emotionally challenging too because sometimes I don't know if it happens to you, but in some moments I have the imposter syndrome, and I think it's really hard to face it. But every time someone tells me like I felt inspired to pursue science because of something I shared in my social media, for example, it reminds me exactly why this work is so important. Because I think that um, every person can know a lot of things, but if you as a person don't share what you know to future generations, it really doesn't matter. So I think that's my mission,
Yes.
my life vision, and I think that I like to pursue this kind of things.
Yeah, I agree. And imposter syndromes, yes, we've all felt it, and I keep feeling that whenever there's a new AST 101 class. After hearing the other people's work and what they are currently doing, I'm just impressed. So it's normal, I guess. Next.
So, coming from a small place where people actually perceive astronomy as astrology was the major problem for me in the beginning. I grew up with big dreams, but with very little exposure to space or STEM opportunities. As I started my journey, I realized that many students, especially the place like where I've came from, rural areas or underrepresented areas, never considered careers in space, not because they can't, I mean, they are not capable, but because they don't even know such path exists. And that's what motivated me to take action. I began working closely with schools and multiple NGOs to bring space education to places where it's rarely talked about, whether it's through workshops, mentorships, or simple conversations, or delivering guest lectures occasionally. I try to make them feel space as less distant and more possible, but it hasn't been easy. One of the biggest challenge is the mindset around job security. In India, there's a strong focus on getting a stable and predictable job, and that's completely understandable. But space doesn't always come with a fixed career path or instant results, and it's hard to explain to students and parents that this field takes time, resilience, and sometimes, unconventional routes. But it was not really that easy. But every time when a student comes up and says, I didn't know someone like me could be part of this space world, and it reminds me that every small steps can spark huge changes.
Yeah, definitely have to add on to like all those amazing experiences. I think a lot of the roles that we support at NASA, and like educational outreach and sharing your work to others is almost a given role in your job. Like that is like one of the biggest things we do, especially at big locations like JSC or KSC, where there's constant media presence, there's constant educational outreach opportunities. So a lot of times we'll go out to schools and we'll directly talk to students from the high school, middle school, college level, and share our experiences, open up the opportunities and gateways as much as we can. And yeah, actually, even before the space industry, I really liked doing that because my family as well actually is from India, and we used to visit every single year prior to COVID. And last time we visited we took a little gap year because of COVID, but it's been a little while. But every year we used to go to Maharashtra and areas in Mumbai. A lot of my family is also from Kolhapur, so there's a lot of rural areas out there with not a lot of connections to internet or hardware or computers or anything. And I really liked computer science. My dad's computer science and my mom's electrical engineer, and they both came from very rural backgrounds. So it was really important to me to set up kind of like these opportunities and gateways and pipelines, and just at least plant the seed in these local communities where a lot of neighborhoods may be impoverished or gang violence is prevalent, where we could give other options and other opportunities of a life in the future, even just a sliver of hope to go dream big and do amazing things. And yeah, when I was in high school, I developed a lot of educational outreach efforts, and we would teach kids in India from the middle, high school, and collegiate level to try to engage them in the STEM field. And in some areas that didn't even have computers, we would have like there'd be like kind of like these junkyards of computer parts and like small electronic pieces, and we would like go and sift through them and see if we could build a computer. So like even at that level, even if you come to the States, you'll learn more doing that at like the most crude level than you would like learning from a textbook or anything. So some pretty cool exposure opportunities.
It's going to be very different before and after computers, but scrapping them just to create some workable, this is fantastic work. Next one is, as a new generation in the industry, you guys are new in this upcoming generation. Some of you are just going to access after school. What barriers to entry have you seen or experienced in the aerospace world, and how are you addressing them? And another question is, do you feel heard? Maybe some examples at the IAC or in the current role as an entry level individual. What examples can you bring?
I think two examples. Okay, my dog is. Wait, yeah. Two examples can be access and visibility. That I think that are the biggest barriers that I have seen and experienced in the aerospace world. I mean, a lot of young people, especially girls and those from underrepresented communities, don't even realize that these kind of opportunities exist because they have never been exposed to them. So I have often found myself being the youngest person, like in a room, or the only woman, or the only Latina. And honestly, that can be like intimidating, and it makes you question like whether you belong or even when you have worked hard to be there. But that's one of the reasons I care so much about the outreach. In my case, I give like talks, joint panels, because I think that these kind of activities help to expand more the space community, and also the participation of the events where I can share like resources and also like share stories like these kind of events. And also like to share the paths of each person, the ups and the downs and all the things. I think that in my case are one of the examples that I how I can say it, are the most important things that you can do to how you can say when you like when you're trying to stop some barriers in this kind of areas.
Have you ever felt the same, Jahnavi?
I mean, yes, as I said, space here, the place where I actually come from, space always felt like a distance dream, or
Uh-huh.
which made feel people like mainly girls of small age made them feel like it's something that's very huge that to be perceived. And I mean, for me, that was not really when I said to the people that I want to go to space or moon someday. People thought I'm crazy, but I kept dreaming anyway. And when I was been into multiple programs before IIAS, but IIAS have turned into something that made me feel like, yes, I'm actually doing this. Like, yeah, I'm into this. And youth are like the heartbeat of today's aerospace industry. And we bring fresh ideas, new perspectives, and energy needed to challenge old ways of thinking. And do I feel heard? It's a mix. I mean, there are many platforms where young voices are amplified and valued, especially through the global networks and analog missions and the youth led organizations. But in some like traditional spaces, uh, youth are still have to prove their worth and fight to be taken seriously. That said, I believe uh, that with every step forward, every mission, and like every talk, every initiative we are making, space is more inclusive and accessible, and our voices are growing, uh, and we are trying to make a change, and that's how real change begins.
Fantastic. Very good.
Definitely
Great info.
amazing. Yeah.
And
I'd like
actually,
to add, like, I think I come from a perspective where, sorry?
yeah, before you start, because I believe, Achintya, you can maybe tell us a little bit different because you are already working in the industry, not in one job, but you already had experience in three jobs, which is fantastic. How hard was it to enter? Did you see any barriers, maybe from being a very youth individual? Do you have jealousy from other people, or what do you remember from being a challenge in your as you first started with those companies?
Right. I definitely think it's the imposter syndrome is a big one that stuck out to me. I mean, I'd like to just even backtrack that, like, a difference between me and a lot of maybe a lot of other folks is, I was lucky to be born in the States. Like, that's a thing we take for granted here in the US, and it's a huge, huge barrier. Like, coming as a generation family, I know most of my family and cousins and relatives would kill for even just half of the opportunity that we're given here. So definitely make note to that, as many barriers and boundaries that there are out there. I definitely had a lot of opportunities. I'm grateful for the leg ups that I've received just being born here. So yeah, I think just like anyone else, you'd have to study hard. You'd have to navigate through whether that's political or career climates of your various situations. But yeah, I think it's important to stick to hard work, and try your best to navigate the world as best as you can. Uh, there's a saying that sticks out to me, and it's if you stand around the barbershop long enough, sooner or later you'll get a cut. And I think that applies to no matter who you are, as long as you're determined and really determined for the goals that you want to achieve, which obviously Dafne and Jahnavi are very good examples of that right there.
Fantastic advice. Very, very good advice. Thanks for sharing that, Achintya. In your work or even at school, how do you promote inclusion and equity, particularly for underrepresented communities? Can you bring some examples?
In my case, my current role in Shakti Sat, the mission that I was talking about, I help support a global program that trains thousands of girls in space technology. Our main goal is to make the aerospace field more inclusive, starting from a young age. That I think is the most important thing, the young age children's. Through this program, we offer courses and mentorships in areas like satellite design, coding and systems engineering, and all this is adapted to be as accessible and engaging for students from diverse backgrounds. Um, it's not just like technical skills, it's also like building confidence, showing them that they belong here, giving them the tools to envision themselves as future engineers and scientists and leaders and all these kind of roles that we need nowadays. So for me, inclusion also means representation, because that's why I speak at events, like sharing my story and all this stuff, because I I think that I can show with the representation that this is possible, that this is happening right now, and as I can do these kind of things, every person can also do this. Mhm.
100%. If you have some links that you want to share or their social media from what you have accomplished, please share them at the chat. And just FYI,
Okay.
not everyone has to answer the same question, so it's open to anyone that would like to participate. So if you're ready, Achintya or Jahnavi, go ahead. If not, I'll continue with another question.
Sure, I could.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
you go. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just want a quick interjection with the at Blue Origin currently we have like a program called Club for the Future. So we have a lot of different diversity, inclusion, and uh, efforts for Blue Origin hiring, Blue Origin mentorship, just really even the space industry in general, and even internally we have a lot of different groups focused on different like identities and populations, like the New Gutierrez or New Hawking. So these are like different groups for like Latinx members and different groups for disabled members of society, different non-traditional groups, minority groups. So there's a lot of efforts going on in the Blue Origin side and the private industry for inclusion. So.
Good.
As I said, I was promoting STEM and space to the underrepresented areas of India. At the same time, I'm currently doing workshops with different schools in different parts of India and virtually all over the world, and teaching them the simple STEM and space experiments and topics where they can spark their beginner interest, and also trying to let them understand that not just people of aerospace background can become a part of space, but anyone can be a part of it, and sharing the basic knowledge that if a lot of people lack these days, since they are not really aware of all the things that is happening right now in the space industry. And that's what I'm currently doing to make the space education more reachable for the students.
Thanks, Jahnavi, for sharing. This one, it may be hard to provide examples, but again, we can put some examples from school, even from careers and the decision-making people. The question is, how can institutions and organizations better support youth voices, not just in participation, but also in the decision-making?
That's a hard one. I think institutions and organizations need to stop viewing young people only as the professionals of the future. They need to start recognizing the value we bring right now as young people, because that means that with this, they can involve us in meaningful decision making in, I don't know, at work and at some kind of decisions, inviting us to be part of like committees, project development, not just offering like internships where we are expected to like do certain kind of tasks, but also like to have real changes in at works. I think that also like creating mentorships, learning by professionals, maybe it can also be, but also like as we learn from the professionals, they can also learn about us, like about our perspectives, from our ideas, and trusting the young people responsibility, giving us the space to lead some big spaces right now, because I think that we can bring fresh energy, innovation, diversity, which are exactly what the industries are trying to search right now to move forward.
Yeah, what Defin said was really true, and I would like to add that youth shouldn't just be invited to join events or the programs. We should be involved in actual planning and decision behind them. It's not just about giving us a chance to speak, but also valuing our ideas and letting us to contribute meaningfully. And organizations can support this by, including young people in leadership roles, asking for our input early on, and trusting us with real responsibilities, not just giving a responsibilities that actually doesn't make any sense or contribute really hard part of it. When that happens, we feel seen, heard, and empowered to help uh, and the help to shape the future, not just watch it happen or just think we can be a part, but actually working with it.
Yeah, a principle that comes to mind that I saw recently is like reverse mentorship, where instead of like normal mentors who are like the older and senior folk in an organization become the mentees. So it's a really interesting concept, and I think it really proves well, especially in our increasingly online world. And we see the incredible power that it has, especially in initiatives like social media. It's almost just as important, if not more important, to communicate the work that you're doing to social media and other organizations, and that goes to show that you need the youth perspective. So I think it's just really important to connect at that deeper level. Attend all hands meetings, like attend meetings where your leadership are speaking, and actively participate. Ask questions. There's many times that I've seen even interns and high school students coming in to NASA conferences and being, "Hey, why are we doing this?" Or "Can I learn more?" And these kinds of questions asked from the smallest level, no matter how a little they might be, are really important discussions that could spark things that you never even dreamed of in the beginning. And that's really important and really special.
Thank you all. Next one, it'll be collaboration across borders. Each of you comes from a different region and cultural background. How has international collaboration shaped your work or worldview in space science?
In my case, I think that working with people from different countries helped me grow in different ways, not just like technically. I think that more personally, it taught me to be more open minded, and more like adaptable to a lot of kind of ways to do something, because each person has his own way to make something. And I think that when you are in a different diverse group with people of different kind of backgrounds, with kind of different places in where they live, you can also like start joining a lot of ideas. And I don't know if you have at the start point kind of way of do something with this diverse people with you can help you to do I don't know how to explain this. But I mean, I don't know if you understand it. Like a lot of kind of ideas that help you to do a specific task, and is at the final point more diverse to have 10 point of different ideas.
And for me, working with people from different parts of world or the countries has completely changed how I see space science, and it made me realize that space is a global effort, like not a single culture or uh, a single country can explore it all alone. Only through international programs and missions, I've learned to respect the different ways of thinking and problem solving and communicating. It actually helped me not just grow in a professional way, but as a person, even though we come from different backgrounds, we all share the same dream to explore and understand the universe, and that shared passion brings people together and show the power of collaboration beyond the borders.
Definitely. And I'd like to echo that because I mean, from what I've seen in the space industry, like international collaboration is truly everything. Like I think I could backtrack to even when I got my start is seeing all these different global partners in the conference, and really witnessing like this universal language of collaboration. And it's really a beautiful thing. You see all these different people from different backgrounds, dialects, and languages, and we're all speaking the same language for collaboration towards really a human effort. Like this is just a this space exploration really is just an ingenuity of humankind. Like we're all in this together. If you look at our ancestry in the past, we would go and seek new opportunity and explore uncharted territory. So I think this is just the same journey in an entirely new dimension, and that's just not possible without international partners. Everything from the talent we hire, from the parts that we manufacture, from the tests that we do, these are all done across the world. And even if you just follow one space project at NASA, let alone even a university or even in smaller like schools, you'll see that they collaborate with organizations from across the world. So it just goes to show that it really is only possible together, and it's incredible to see these ideas come to fruition from all across the world. People speaking all different languages and having all different backgrounds. So it's a necessity for sure.
100%. And yeah, we could notice this at every AST 101, IIAS, you evolve in, and just participating with, you can see different flags, 3 different flags, up to 10 different flags in every class, which is just fantastic. You get the sense that we are connected worldwide with this space industry and collaboration between not only this class, but what you guys are developing in their own countries, which is just fantastic. I think I am positive and enthusiastic about seeing this growth worldwide. I think this is another wave that is coming for the space industry as technology keeps advancing and having more access to these type of things, thanks to technology and robotics and AI now coming to the access of everyone. So this may accelerate everything at an exponential rate, which is very, very good. If you could make one major change to the aerospace industry right now to empower young leaders, what will that be?
I think that I would love to create more hands-on programs in my country, at least, because I think these kind of opportunities give us like real world experiences without requiring years of prior credentials. I mean, if you start making some projects at the age that you want to have, like kids from 12 years old making hands-on projects to build a big satellite or something like this, you start developing the creativity on these children, and probably when these children grow up, he will be more prepared to being an engineer. So it's experience, and I think that I mean, in my country, I would love to create this kind of hands-on activities to create more prepared people.
Yeah, and I would create more open and affordable opportunities because this particular aerospace trainings or the programs always comes with expensive numbers, and mainly for young people, I'll try to make things more on hands-on. And a lot of students having big dream but don't know where to start or can't afford the programs that are available. And by making internships and training programs or even mentorships can help them to, you know, uh, uh, grow or make them feel like more accessible, especially for the students from, smaller towns or underrepresented backgrounds. We can help more young people believe that they belong in this field when they are given in right support and chance to grow. They can bring fresh ideas and become strong future leaders in aerospace.
Yeah, I think I'd like to echo some of these ideas. One thing I'd really hope to do more is to open up more opportunities to international partners. I know, like the one I touched upon before, the US citizenship is such a huge barrier of entry for many people trying to enter the space industry. So, like, just opening up opportunities where we can help students at the grassroots level and really try to inspire, and not just inspire, but also give them opportunities to apply their passions, because these students are hungry. These international students and schools, they want to contribute, and they can do really incredible work. So I think if we could open up some more doors and really try to bring those opportunities more to students, and find a way to collaborate, that'd be pretty incredible.
100%. ITAR. I hate it. I also hate the fact that even spacesuits are ITAR regulated, and all the space companies. There should be a loophole and another way to conduct things. Maybe a small and separate office, not a huge building. Maybe if we can be restricted of seeing the rockets, the engines, the spacesuits. I mean, just as contributing to the company, and having the shirt of the company, creating code and not having access to the most top secret items. We don't care as immigration people. We don't care about that as long as we are contributing and getting paid for that. There should be, as mentioned, something that can be accomplished. Different building, different programs, entry level things, as you just mentioned, Achintya. And I don't know, hopefully maybe you guys can lead that front, especially in these commercial companies that can have their own decisions, and also they have a voice in Washington and the decision makers. But I think as long as you are not interconnected with the top secret items, that can hinder the U.S. technology, then why not, right? There should be some ways to accomplish this, and hopefully we can start making these changes. We have concluded to the last question. Oh no, second last. This one is my favorite. What excites you about the next decade in space exploration?
Um, I think that is that right now is not just that thing for few countries or people. Now we are seeing students, young professionals, and even people from countries that weren't traditionally involved getting a chance to participate. I think that there are more private companies, more international missions, and educational programs that are actually reaching young people, and I think that this is the thing that excites me the most because um, it starts to feel that we can have a place in this field too. And honestly, this give me a lot of hope. I think that the space is right now becoming something that we can reach, and this is not something that we are going to just watch from distance like it appears to be, because it's opening to more people.
And what excites me the most is we're gonna have Indian astronauts again in the space very soon, and looking at the Gaganyaan mission and incredible growth of next missions and discoveries on the horizon from the moon to the Mars and beyond. And technology is advancing quickly, opening up possibilities we couldn't imagine before. And I'm also really inspired by the rise of young entrepreneurs and innovators in the STEM and who are creating new ideas, startups, and technologies that will shape the future of space. And it's exciting to see so many young people driving change and making space exploration more accessible and innovative.
I definitely like to say it's pretty exciting to be a part of the generation developing a lot of efforts on the return to the moon for the first time in around 55, 56 years or so. There's nothing like it. It's true human ingenuity landing on the moon, and I think it's even more incredible that um, it's going to be for prolonged presence on the moon and really developing like a spacefaring civilization. I think if you ask any children, any kid growing up, astronaut had to been one of their goals at some point in time, along with I don't know, like being in Jurassic Park or I don't know, like things of that. But it had to been on the bucket list of some every kid out there. And I know as soon as anyone is reconnected with space in some way, they get that same fire, that same passion, and it's just a human desire to explore and see what's out there. So I think it's truly incredible to really see the efforts of building a civilization on another planet. It's something straight out of a sci-fi movie, a sci-fi novel that in our lifetimes will not be science fiction anymore. It will just be reality, and that's incredibly inherently exciting. Exciting. It's just awesome.
Yes, you mentioned a key word in our lifetimes, which is just fantastic. Seeing these commercial companies reaching space, it's incredible. Seeing them having offices in different countries, that's just fantastic, amazing. As Daphne was saying, we are not only relying in a single organization like NASA used to lead before, and only that, the other ones were just making components for the rockets to NASA. But right now, we're seeing companies outside of the US accomplishing fantastic things. iSpace is going to land in the moon in the next couple of hours or days. And then we all seen what SpaceX is doing, and also Blue Origin launching and reaching orbit. I think it was this year. By the way, Achintya, when is the next New Glenn rocket launching? Do you know?
I actually do not. I
This
don't.
year, isn't it?
Is it this? It might be this year. But I do know the lunar lander is slated for late, like fall of this year to
And that
launch.
one is with ULA, with the Vulcan rocket, or which one? I believe so.
I am not quite sure actually. Yes, second week, guys. I do not know.
Exciting to see a lunar lander from the HLS supporting Artemis mission, supporting NASA. It's very good. We are all excited that and thankful that they chose different companies, not only one like SpaceX, because they haven't even reached space in the HLS. But this is so good to know that Blue Origin is also playing big roles, not only launching humans every other month into space in suborbital missions, but also aiming for the moon this year. This is just crazy, and we all know that Blue Origin is going to be a very big company accomplishing fantastic things in the next couple of years. And now we have the last question. Any advice for young people watching today who want to get involved but don't know where to start?
Um, Start with curiosity, I think, is the best one. I mean, you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take the first step. And by this, I mean exploring online resources, reaching out people that you admire, join a local science club or competition. I mean, you don't need to have a perfect background or expensive equipment to begin doing something. I think that passion, persistence, and willingness to learn will take you far.
My advice would be begin to step out of that comfort zone, which is stopping you there, and just gain the courage to take the first step and start it small and stay curious. Find out what part of space or STEM excites you the most because it's really big, whether it's science, technology, engineering, or something else. Look for local clubs and join communities where you can learn and connect with others, and don't be afraid to ask questions, like if you did understand something or if you want to know something, open up, question, and try new things and reach out to people who are already working in the field. And every little step counts, and your passion will open doors over time. And remember, everyone starts somewhere, and the most important thing is to keep learning and believing in your dreams that you want to achieve.
Well said, Jahnavi.
Yeah, I'd say it's you don't know what you don't know. Like there's so many opportunities out there. Like I didn't even know I wanted to enter space until I happened to just by chance uh stumble upon an opportunity close to my hometown. But there's a fire hose of information online, and really, and any person you could possibly ever want to talk to is on LinkedIn or some sort of online platform where you could reach out to them. So like
Yeah.
when I started, I was just browsing through LinkedIn profiles or browsing to what people were doing. What are people doing now that back when in 2020? What are people doing right now that they could be in person or that they could meet other people? That was my start, and all of a sudden here we are. So it really just goes to the keeping an open mind and seeking those just being open to any new opportunities. Maybe saying yes to going to that one conference or saying yes to going to that one webinar that you might not have gone to otherwise, and you never know where that leads. You never know the people you might meet. I like to meet at least a new person a day in whatever new organization that I'm in. So you never know where that goes, and keep an open mind, not expecting anything. Yeah, the world is your oyster. We have the internet online at your fingertips to search up things on. You could use AI powered tools like ChatGPT to write your emails and sift through LinkedIn profiles and everything. So I mean, there's really it's really just the start. You just got to be out there and be open to taking that leap of faith and seeing what's out there, saying yes.
True. Very smart, Achintya. What great recommendations you just provided, and insistence. It's very important. I remember Trevor, who's got a job, a former NBL diver, and he said the same. Just sending messages in LinkedIn to people that were working there and stalking them and seeing what they were doing, and just sending invitations, sending questions and questions and questions. Like, it doesn't matter. We need to get the answer, and as long as you don't hear a cool no, then you just keep going and keep asking and keep knocking those doors. So thank you. And that goal that you have, Achintya, of meeting a different person every day, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's very good. Okay, we don't have any questions in the chat, but maybe you guys have some questions to each other before closing. A question to Achintya from MBL, NASA, Blue Origin. Go ahead, Dafne.
How can you describe like being working inside of a space industry like Blue Origin?
Yeah, so being on the Space Coast is nothing short of amazing. Like you're just looking out your window or going doing your groceries, and you see like a glimmer in the sky. And anyone I know here who's been to Florida or has lived here for a short period of time knows what I'm talking about. If you don't catch the space bug from that, I don't know what will. And you see people stopping what they're doing, even in the middle of the road. Like you'll see people driving their cars in the middle of the road, stopping because they see like a launch or some rocket going by. So it's just the feeling is nothing short of incredible, and knowing that you're a part of that and you're the reason why you have all these crowds gathered and people watching and looking in awe. It's incredible. It's really a humbling feeling, and yeah, I'm very grateful for the opportunities that have been presented to me to be able to be a part of that.
Yeah, it sounds really cool.
Absolutely, definitely.
100%. I think the retirement retirement of the space shuttle was so detrimental to dreamers, to people studying STEM careers, and getting accustomed to seeing that out of your window from your patio, showing that to your kids, to then all of a sudden nothing. It is sad. So I echo what you said, Achintya. That is just fantastic to being a part of this generation of seeing things changing and growing at a very rapid pace. This is so good. We have a question from Aaron Persad. Aaron Persad has been with IIAS for probably since the beginning, and he's also in charge of the microgravity research campaign in Ottawa every year to make microgravity experiments and flying them in parabolas in a Falcon 20 airplane along with the Canada National Research Council. His question is, well, first of all, he enjoyed the session. It was a very nice session, and he wonders where you guys think IIS can improve. Maybe 2 or 3 ideas that you guys can tell, even from AST 101 or other recommendations that you might have.
Okay, I have a thing that is scrolling in my mind, but it's not about the course. But I know IIS is collaborating with few universities inside the USA, but I'm not sure if it's happening outside states like the Middle East or the Asian side, because the flying cost is more expensive than the course that we're getting. So if we collaborate and work this side, maybe more students will come up and take
Yeah.
part in such training programs. Yeah.
Just to follow up on that, David, can I make a comment?
Please go ahead.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I think this is a great idea. And what I will share is IIAS has been mulling over the idea of having, I guess, franchises is probably the best way to say it, where just like we have like an anchor in the US and we have an anchor in Canada, perhaps we can have an anchor other places like South America, Europe, Asia, and keep going. So it's a very, very interesting idea. But the growth required and the sort of, if you will, the business plan required to make that happen, and also to protect the IP and so on. I think there's a lot of work to be done there. But in order for us to have an anchor at a location, we also need to have a person that champions the effort. So, for example, one of the reasons that we are doing parabolic flights in Canada is there's a champion there, NRC Canada, who believes in what we do, and they go above and beyond to make this happen. And similarly, Achintya mentioned, his experience at Survival Systems USA, and they have been a champion of our program as well. Again, going above and beyond to make this program work. And so, if you're thinking of like, I would love to have a franchise in India, well, we're open to it, I'm sure, but we need a champion that would be able to carry that work effort and see it through to the end. There are challenges that will be encountered, and without a champion to push through, it won't happen. All right, so let me just say it's something that we've certainly been talking about, and Space for All Nations that David is involved with is our extension to have that reach outside of Canada, outside of the US. Yeah.
Thank you, Jahnavi. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you so much. Let me just find the champion who can make IRS possible in India or in the Middle East or somewhere between, closer to my place, not flying all the way to USA again and again.
You could be
100%.
the champion yourself.
I can, but I can try.
Yes,
Thanks for the
please
heads
knock
up.
the doors, knock the
Yeah.
universities, knock your current government, and
Yeah, yeah,
we'll
yeah.
be
I would
willing. We
definitely
will
go
be
knock the
definitely willing.
government because Since I'm into this kind of trainings, I do have people from the government where people they're actually looking for someone who can take STEM initiative or space and bring something to India. And maybe I can try talking
True,
about that when I have our next meet.
true.
Thank you. Thanks for the idea.
Thanks, Jahnavi. And good luck with the Chandrayaan. We'll all be cheering on that mission. Well, the time has come. Thank you all for joining us today for Conversations at IIAS, webinar number 8, Youth-Led Aerospace Movements, Voices Shaping the Future. A huge thank you to our incredible guests for sharing their inspiring insights and contributions to this beautiful industry. Congratulations, Dafne, Jahnavi, and Achintya. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining. Today, we've explored the power of youth in driving change, the value of cross-cultural exchange, and the critical need for inclusive space futures. These takeaways reminds us of how young voices like you all three are shaping a bold and equitable path forward for aerospace. We invite you all to stay connected with IIS for more thought-provoking discussions like this one from today. Follow us on social media channels for updates on future episodes. For those who'd like to revisit today's conversations, we are recording it and will be available soon in our YouTube and IIS platforms. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you on our next event. Your host, David Guajardo. Thank you.